All right, so this video is really set up for hopefully helping founders, people with ideas, and technical people. But I'm trying to aim for the people who see all the latest AI uh, push towards building your own application. And if you follow these patterns in this video, you're going to be able to actually deploy an app. So many times people with ideas, we'll call them founders or product owners, they get really far in Lovable, but they can't deploy it because there's a lot of little details they maybe don't know how to connect the dots. So this video is going to show you how to build in a way that you can connect the dots, so you can get this thing live within an hour or two. I mean, this is live within less than an hour because you're iterating, and I'll explain that. And you'll see some tools in these screens flying by here that we're using to build this: Supabase, N8N, Lovable, bringing them all together so you can use no code and you can use AI to build the front end, and then N8N and some skills there to build the back end. Skills that you can learn, skills that will empower you to keep building, maintaining, and owning the particular system. And then if you do bring in a developer, you can do that and you can say, okay, this is what I want you to use, where I want you to do it. And so you get just a better path forward where you're not getting a bunch of code and debt in a developer team. So if you really watch this video and really take time to try these patterns, you will come out with a product. And I will show up here and there in the video to kind of jump in and explain things, because as I'm shooting the video, it's sometimes hard to just explain things at a good detail level. So I'll come in during the video and do that. And by the end of this video, and you'll see here, I have a site, it's working. I have authentication, I have chatability, I have Telegram, I have onboarding, so I can go through the process of becoming a customer and then start using the product. We have Stripe, all this stuff already working. So yeah, this is it. If you follow this video, it has everything you need to build apps consistently, or an app, and make your product deployed in live. I begin using Lovable for deployment, so it even gets easier because you just click that button on their screen. And again, it's just these three pieces put together. You'll have the application that runs your idea, your business. All right, hang in there. It's a long one. There's links below if you want to hire me to help train you in this, or just because you got it, but you want to help getting it over the finish line. All right, enjoy. Good luck. All right, since I shoot this before the opening video, hopefully in the opening video I gave you a good idea of what I'm going to build, because we're going to build it right now. And maybe the opening video will show it failed, but I really doubt it because I've been doing this a while now, and I've built a few successful apps for customers day after day. More than a few, honestly. So let's get started now. They've already explained what we are going to do. So let's get Lovable open and start connecting the dots. The first thing we're going to do is the sign up Lovable Supabase Auth Stripe. We're not going to mess around. This is going to be a paid application. I'm not going to go into heavy prompting stuff. People do a lot of that. I'm going to just let All right, since I shoot this before the opening video, hopefully in the opening video, it gave you a good idea of what I'm going to build, because we're going to build it right now. And maybe the opening video will show it failed, but I really doubt it, because I've been doing this a while now, and I've built a few successful apps for customers day after day. More than a few, honestly. So let's get started now that I've already explained what we are going to do. So let's get Lovable open and start connecting the dots. The first thing we're going to do is the sign up Lovable Supabase Auth Stripe. We're not going to mess around. This is going to be a paid application. I'm not going to go into heavy prompting stuff. People do a lot of that. I'm going to just let Lovable drive, but I also limit it. And that's the big learning curve here, as you're going to see. Lovable is only in charge of some of the UI elements, so keep that in mind as we go. The heavy logic, you're going to see me continue to push back into N8N, okay? So first we're going to start off with Auth and Supabase and Stripe, so that Lovable is doing the work. So we're going to go to Lovable, and we're going to start our prompt. I do want to use Supabase off the bat, so I'm going to try and hook this up right away. I did not set up the Supabase org yet because I wanted to do it with you here. So I created the org. I didn't set up the project yet. So let's see if Lovable will do a new project. So let's see. Okay. And then I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to create a project. And let's go through some of this. So I am going to go get one password ready for this. So let me do that. All right, let's talk about the 3 technologies that make this work. We're going to use Lovable. Everybody knows Lovable. But in and of itself, I don't think it can build a complex application like we're going to build. And when I say complex, it's really, what we're building is not that complex, but it can build in complexity as you need the features. So you have the option here of growing this out and iterating. But Lovable would not be the way to do that. What Lovable does is it gives you a nice simple way to build the user interface, the authentication, the chat, or whatever the screen is that comes after that. The next technology that then talks to Lovable, and you'll see the icon up there in the Lovable dashboard, is Supabase. So at this point, we're dealing with a technology that's just amazing. You sign up, 20 bucks a month, 25, you can host. If your site grows, their fees increase, but if you're growing at that rate, you're doing good. And so Supabase becomes everything. It becomes the authentication backend. It becomes the real-time events. It becomes obviously the database that makes Lovable work. And it's so key. So you'll get using that. You'll see the UI is not that bad. And it has its own AI. So when Lovable can't do something in it, which it can do a lot, then you would use Supabase's AI or UI to do it in their AI. After that, you have N8N, horrible name, number N8N. And this is the brains. This is the thing that does everything for you complex business-wise. It never talks to Lovable directly. Basically, when you do something in Lovable, it writes or reads a row to the Supabase database, and then N8N reacts to that and does the work. The chat, the logic to make the AI do things, the scheduled events, the telegram, and other stuff that will come in later on. This is where all your business logic is, which means no code. You can click and do things, and you can bring a developer on if you need one to say, go use this, and you don't get a bunch of their code and a bunch of their debt. You're just right here. And you could do this yourself. A lot of people learn how to do this. So many videos on YouTube about it. So that's the 3 technologies that are really going to drive this home. Of course, you have Stripe, which Lovable knows about, and it will subscribe the person. And then you have N8N, which then you can use to monitor their subscription, and that all comes together easily. All right, just want to introduce the 3 key technologies that are making this so possible. As I go, 1Password, just staying organized is really, really key. So I'm going to start doing that here. And a lot of people don't talk about this as you're building, but have a password manager. And in that password manager, just track everything. And just don't make up passwords. Don't try to remember them. Just let it do the job. Okay. I'm going to paste that there, and then the project name is going to be Meal Planner, because that's what we're doing for the 100th time. I've done this before. I don't really want the free. I probably got to go add my credit card. I'll have to do that after if I keep this. I might keep it, but delete it all and start over because it's really that easy. And I think I still need to set up my N8N because I didn't want to use their hosted version, so we'll do that as we go as well. So I'm going to close that because I've already saved it. And this guy is probably, looks like it's already done. That's great. So let's go back to here, and we'll see it. Nice. Okay. So I want to, what else do I want? I'll use my default workspace. I don't have any images or Figma. Okay, now I'm just going to chat with it. So I use Whisper. I'm going to build an application with you. I want to start off first and foremost with a authentication page that uses Supabase as the authentication backend. This will require registration and obviously allow people to log in and reset their passwords. There'll be no need to confirm your email after registration. I will disable that in Supabase. Since we're using Stripe, people must pay to use the application, so I really want to put that in place right away. There'll be a 7-day trial period with Stripe, and so that's key. Then we'll stop after this, and I'll explain the rest of the application. And then we go. Now, that's probably going to ask some questions. But if we look here, we really keep it focused on just that. We'll get to the other things, but you're going to see that I limit the UI and AI to just talk to Supabase, that it's going to go really easy. It's more about us knowing what interactions to build. So here's a subscription, then the onboarding chat so the person can let the AI know what meal plan it wants. And then the meal planning chat, the rest of the chat where they can just talk with the AI and be like, hey, change this, do this. And of course, we'll have a profile page where they can manage their subscriptions. In the back end, we'll get into automated stuff where we can automate weekly plans on Sunday, depending on their settings. And we can automate the shopping list being created and then eventually automate shopping. That's not that far out. All right, so let this thing do its thing. Let's see, Stripe secret key. Okay, good. So I have Stripe up and going. I'm in test mode. So I went here and I did test mode. Now they have a new mode here I'm not using just because I'm lazy. I'll figure it out later. But it's going to need a key. And then from here we can continue to just make fake credit card entries. So let's go to developers, keys, and which key does it want? Again, this is just tests, so use it if you want. Secret key, so that's secret key. SK, secret key. Okay, and then I'm going to click on this. Could do monthly. I'm going to try something here. I probably will regret this. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's nice. So I'm going to paste the key there, the secret one. And it's going to do everything. That's awesome. If it works. Now, remember, while it's doing all this UI stuff, we can start on the back end stuff. So we will start hitting that soon. But it seems like I'm not in like some kind of YOLO mode. I have to approve. And what's nice here is it knows how to do Stripe per its normal standards. So I don't have to think about it. Let me go to N8N. And start setting that up. So this guy should be running if I click deploy, but don't worry about this because you can just use n8n.io and sign up. If you sign up, give them a few bucks, you're ready to go. I just happen to be self-hosting for this one. No good reason. You can self-host. It does save you some of the concerns of maybe using the system too much and going over their limits, but it just depends, honestly. Let's see if it needs us. I'm going to move this over here. Let's see if this guy's done. Nope, not yet. Again, nothing to worry about there. I'm going to close this tab and I'm going to go back to here. And this is our mail planner one and our tables. It will start doing things. But I want to go to authentication and I want to click on sessions and I want to turn off the email verification just so I can speed up the flow here. So here, I want to turn this guy off and that's all. It just means they can log in right after they sign up. How are we doing? Still going. All right, so let's close this. Again, this stuff I should have just done on the side because it's really not important to this. So I'm going to give myself a email. And then, like I said, I'm going to go take this and put this into 1Password so I don't have to think about it ever again. It would just know it for me. And that would be that, and that would be that. Okay. And then we'll do that and that. Okay. So the next thing here, other than doing this, is we got to go get a license, and I'll show you that. And again, if you're paid for it, great. Good. You don't need to worry about this. But I'm going to send an email to myself, or it's going to send an email to me, and we'll get a license. So let's do that. Just going to pull this over here. And you'll get an email from them with this particular key, and then we just add it. So we go here. Actually, you can just click on the link in the email. But we're going to go here to enter the activation key. Again, pay for their subscription. Self-hosting is great, but if it seems like, don't let it intimidate you. Don't let it throw you off. I'm going to try and make this the most simple thing to follow, honestly. All right, we're going to start our first flow, and we're going to do two things here as that guy's building. Is I'm going to do a chat. Now this is going to be everything. Everything is going to be here. Okay. We'll have some other workflows, but in the end, this is it. Okay. So I'm going to have a chat interface. I'm going to have a chat model. I'm just going to stick to ChatGPT, but obviously you can use whatever works for you. Now ChatGPT, I have a bunch of keys I use. So I'm going to use one of those, and we're just going to go here and create that credential and do that. You get that green thing and you're ready to go. And then I'm going to see if 5 is here. I'm not always seeing that, and I might have to go update something on my, probably going to go update something on my, my account. I might pause and do that right now. I'll be right back. I'm not quite sure. Their interface is not that great for ChatGPT. I'm just going to try that and just see what happens. So, okay. So we're going to do just a quick hello world, but we're going to change that pretty quickly. And we'll do hello. Now, some people would use Open Router, and that's great too. Yeah, I got to go fix my credentials. So basically, I wouldn't worry about this from your standpoint. I must have just not added it to my credentials. They make you add to the particular API key somewhere the allowed models, and I could have sworn I've told it don't just let everybody use everything. So all right, so I had to go into platform settings, project ID, and then limits. And then in limits I had to edit that and add the GPT-5. It's interesting. I don't know how, maybe sometime along the way I set that, so we'll see. All right, so let me close out all these tabs and get back to what we were doing. Tabs will kill your flow. So now it should work, but obviously I got to kind of wake it up to try again. So let's go to here, and then here, so we get the new list of models. And we should see 5, and I can start removing all of these. So I'm going to go to 5. Okay. And I'm going to, I don't think I'm going to do anything here. I think what I want to do, though, I'm going to leave everything alone for a moment there. Okay. So now I'm just going to say hello, and then we can start working on the onboarding side and everything else. So the key to all of this is, when does this guy get triggered from the front end? And so to begin with, I'm going to add that. But by having this chat area, I can also experience the flow of things to test it out without having to go to the front end. So I do want both because of that. So let's see how this guy's doing. View edge functions, configure out settings. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so we're going to start our free trial and give it a go. Now, sometimes inside of the UI here, you might have trouble. So I am going to click on this guy and see if that will help. I don't know. It's just session stuff. So let's give this a try. I'm going to start my trial and I'm going to sign up and I'm going to say test 001 because there's going to be a lot of these. And then what I do is I say, okay, daily, and then I say plus. So I just kind of know what I'm testing and who I'm on. In this one, I have a very secure password that I can use for all my tests, which I delete later. So now we've signed up and let's get out of here. Trial has expired. Not the greatest experience, but let's just see what happens. I don't know. I didn't give it enough information about the product. Now you saw a prompting flaw. All right, so let's see. Failed to create checkout session. Please try again. So I don't really want to deal with this. I just wanted to make me a subscription or make sure I'm activated. So I'm going to let it know the auth worked, and then I'll just give it a heads up about that and see what it says. And what I'm going to tell it is when I press the reactivate button, it does that. And actually, I'm going to try and take a better screenshot one moment, just so I don't put its little logo in there. Okay. So now, if I refresh the status, oh, look it. Oh, it was a race condition. Interesting. So that was a race condition. I'm not going to worry about that right now. And it basically means things were happening in the background to validate or verify or create my subscription. Boom, 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 we're set. I don't want to touch this right now because we're going to get to a point where so much else is going. The person would never see this. We'll come back to it later. But this is great. Okay. So now we're going to say, okay, so I will keep the chat history there. I don't know how it keeps itself from running out, but that's not my problem. We're going to do the next prompt. Okay, the first step is onboarding, and it's going to be honestly like the rest of the UI. There's a nice chat window, and the LLM will show an onboarding prompt now, or message. And I want you to get this message from the prompts table you'll make. That prompts table will have a column for prompt and a column for key, so you kind of know that this is the onboarding prompt. And then when you show that prompt, you're going to then have my reply go into the chat history table. Now you're going to make that as well. That's chat_history. And that's what's going to be how we track the chat. It's going to have a column that's the message. A column is the role, AI or human. A column for type. A column for status, and I'll put in there like pending, running, completed. But also a column for step where I can write whatever I want that's very human readable, and you can show that in the UI. The chat history table is something that will be real-time events on, and obviously will be something that only, it will have the user ID, so obviously only the user ID who owns that can read it as they're chatting. And this really becomes our first screen, and to a degree, maybe our only screen to start with. It's this nice chat conversation that the user is having with the AI to get a sense. Now, just so you have a sense of the goal of the application, I'll put this inside of the settings area. This is a meal planning app. So the first step will be all about understanding what the person likes to eat, their schedule and whatnot. And the second, after they're onboarded, will be all about just helping them get their meal plan going for the week, their shopping list, their meals, etc. So, all right, that's it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to do something here. So let me do this. I'm going to, just so you can see from nuts to bolts, as they say. So ChatGPT, you can use whatever you want. I really don't care, but I'm using ChatGPT. And in ChatGPT, I make a project, and I'll show you in a moment. And this project is, let me make the tab over here. This project will be the context or the brains of the AI system for ChatGPT. So when I ask it things, it will know what we're talking about. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to now give it a sense of the overview of the app we're building. And then I'm going to ask it to make a prompt. So to begin with, just to get things rolling here, I'm going to ask it to go do its thing. Actually, I'm going to wait because I want to show you something really quick. This project is me building a meal planning app. It will have subscriptions. It has N8N and Supabase running the backend with Lovable building the React.js front end, authentication, and all of that. The goal is a very simple chat interface that will allow the user to set up what they want for meals every week. And then once they're onboarded, they will move into like just building up their meal plan for the week, shopping list, and eventually doing the shopping for them. So that's the general context of this particular project. So now I have this project with instructions, but so I'm just going to flesh out the prompt more, and I'm going to put this somewhere in Lovable that is a very easy somewhere to lose track of. Now, I have clipboard history, so I'm going to copy this just in case something goes wrong. And then what I'm going to do is put in this prompt, but I'm also going to go to something that's really important, actually. So I'm going to go to settings. And this is the settings for this project where I can start to do some things. Now, one of them will be GitHub. We'll talk about that in a moment. But one of them is knowledge. And I want to put in the knowledge about this project here. And I specifically want to drive it in a certain way. So I want to give it just the general business logic, but also the next thing. It's going too far. So again, don't let it do this. You want, no. I just want the business layer. I want that right now. Even this might be too much. I'm not going to worry about it. Man, they definitely get paid by the words. So now it has a better sense of what it's building here, okay? And so when I run this prompt, it will do something. But now I'm going to go back one more time because I want to double check something. And this is key to what we're building, okay? So I'm going to go back to here and back to here. I don't know why I'm typing. So when I ask you to build something, remember, you're mostly just reading and writing to tables in Supabase, and then listening to WebSockets for updates to the status or step field per my instructions. Leave all the complex logic out and put that into, I will put that into other systems like N8N. It could do it all, but I just don't think it's that stable right now where it breaks things as I go. So, and that's it. So now we have this kind of settings, and I'm going to close it. and then run this. And I'm going to hope it does read that. I'm not 100% confident, so I'm going to reload the chat just out of curiosity. And then I'm going to run this again. Okay. Now, the nice part here is we can go do the other work. It might ask us a question, so maybe I do want to leave this open like that or something, right? So it has database changes. It's not really showing me any, but let's just say go for it. Sometimes it can overdo things, so, you know, whatever. You can do YOLO mode if you want. I'm gonna, but don't be surprised if it overdoes things. Going back to here, while it's building and thinking, is this. So now I'm gonna make a webhook, and that webhook is gonna get information every time a new row to the chat history table is written. Okay, so this will be the chat history. So I'm going to leave this as a weird URL because I want to replace these after the video. So typically I would make the URL nice. Okay, I'm going to enable this because that URL needs to be enabled, and then we're all set. So I'm going to take this URL and do the one thing you need to do over and over again with this system is we go to integrations, and we go to integrations here, and we do this for the one time only, and then we enable that. And then here we're going to add the integration. Now this will make sense. If it doesn't, then it will make sense eventually. This is when they write to the chat history table. So this guy might not even be done writing this. So we'll call this the chat bot. Holy 80s. And we're going to say this is our chat bot because I like to name them the same so I know what workflow it is. When someone inserts a row into the table, chat history, which it hasn't made yet, so we have public prompts. Oh, it did. Okay, cool. We then hit our API, which I'll put a password in front of. And so now, every time someone writes to the chat history something, we're going to listen for it and react if it's from a human. Okay, otherwise we'll get in a loop, and you'll see that in a moment. So now, when that comes in, we're going to say if human, if the particular column is human, we want to do something, okay? So let's just get something in the execution so we have a history here. So let's see. Let's see. Migration failed. It made the prompt table, go figure. I didn't make the prompt table. I don't think I made the prompt table. So prompts or tables are good because I can edit them outside of the app, outside of the code. I can fix things, the welcome messages and things like that. It's just a nice way to keep some stuff. You can even make a settings interface to help build that out. Let's let that go. All right, so I'm going to go into N8N. I'm going to go here, and we got our chat history. Now, N8N is going to have its own chat history. Don't worry about that. This will make sense, okay? So now I have a user ID, which would be me. It looks like it didn't do a good job of linking it to the authenticated user, so I'm going to have to fix that. So let's go do that. Again, none of this stuff is perfect. I could have been maybe more clear, but that's what we got. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to say, hey, you know what? In that auth database, we're going to have a user, and we're going to have an ID. And that's it. So now our user ID is related to them. If we delete that user, I want to delete all their records. Okay, that's it. So it said it had an error. Don't know what it is yet. I'm not too worried about it yet. Maybe we're both writing to it. Who knows? But I want to go back to doing what I was doing. So I'm going to insert a row, insert row. And this is as if the particular user added a question or started, okay? And the message to the system will be like, so that's already asked a question. So I'm going to actually make this the bot. So we're going to say roll AI. And we're going to say, and we're going to set that to pending. And we're going to then say type chat. And this will be for automations and other stuff. In the step, this will make more sense too. All right. So I added a row. Oh, okay. So it's trying to do something here. No, I don't know what it's trying to do. For some reason, it won't let me save. So, oh, okay. So it has something in here. Let's cancel out for a moment. So we're going to go look here, and maybe I got in the way of AI. Oh, yeah. So silly, but whatever. So it has decided to make a role limitation, which is fine. And one of them is AI in caps, and one of them is human, which is fine. Okay. So whatever. You can always use their AI to help you build this stuff, honestly. Just give it a moment to do its thing. I'm going to reload because I don't have patience. This guy here does a lot, so just give it all the ability it needs. And before long, you'll be using it to build these tables as well as Lovable. So let's go see what it said. TypeScript perfectly, great real-time chat, great. Cool, and it even told me here. Kind of funny it's in caps, but I don't care. So I'm going to say role AI, message. And then we're going to say pending, and we're going to bring this all together in a moment. This is a chat. Oh, I'm going to give it to me, even though it's the AI asking the question. I'm going to continue to make the user ID the owner so that we can just see it all in the UI. Okay. But what I want you to see here is that particular act of making a row should trigger the N8N workflow we made. So if I reload this, we see that we have some data that came in. So this is what we're going to work with right here. So let's come back to this in a moment. I'm going to copy it to the editor so we have it purple, which means we have it pinned. Okay. Now, I've successfully created all that AI human. So bouncing back and forth can be hard. Typically, I get enough done where I don't do that, so I focus on one or the other. And yes, this is a very ugly UI. We'll come back to that later. I don't care about the UI. Like, I do once the app is more settled, and we will make it look great, but I want to just get the functionality in place. You can build an amazing AI, but not plug it in anything, and then you get a lot of work going on for you. Okay, great. So now I'm going to say something just to see. Okay. Right now, I'm basically aiming for the classic paleo diet. I like to shop on Sundays and prep the food on Sundays. There's 2 of us, so we need a meal plan that can cover the 2 of us. And we really need to have a sense of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, though we could make lunches or eat leftovers. All right. Now, did it work? Maybe. Let's go see. So again, we got to separate our thinking, UI, backend, okay? I'm going to go look to see if it's saved. It did. Great, okay? It has real-time events on, and it has RLSs, row-level security, so we're doing good. But it should have shown my thing here, and it shows me writing it, but that took a while, right? So I'm going to ask it. We'll do a few more, and then I'm going to ask it for something after, okay? So, okay, let's go back to here now. We have a message from the human, and the human is going to then ask the onboarding prompt. So this is going to be the onboarding prompt, and I'll make more sense of this in a moment, okay? Because there is a point where they're done onboarding. And we'll make that automatic, so the system helps with that. So let's see. We're about 30 minutes in, not bad. So we were doing this, which we got the insert from the chat history. We'll deal with that in a moment. But we also got the results here, which I think we already were messing around with. So now I'm in here messing around because I wanted to be in a window that is outside of this window. And that just helps to not have issues with sessions. And we sent a message here. So now we're going to send a message back and watch it hopefully show up. And then we can give our feedback to Lovable so we can build it. Okay, so when this comes in, I want to first ask, is this record role AI or role human? So if the role is equal to human, then we want to move on, okay? So if we execute this now, it's just going to stop. So what I'm going to do now is go, I think we already have an execution from a moment ago where I wrote to it. So this guy. So this one is me when I wrote my record and I was a human, okay? So I'm going to copy this to the editor, so now I'm ready to roll. So now if I hit that, it's going to go true. So now we do the work, okay? The work is going to be 2 layers in to set this up. So we have webhook vars, okay? And we just need to set up a few things, okay? We just need to set up the session ID, which would be relative to the user. That's all we're going to do is make the user own pretty much everything, okay? We're going to set up the actual chat input, and you can format it any way you want. I'm just doing it this way, okay? And then I think what we need to do here is we got session ID, chat input. I'm going to put the source as web. This will make a lot of sense later too, as we have source of automation, source of Telegram, source of all this stuff. It's going to be cool, okay? So we have step, and we're only doing insert, so I don't have to worry about updates, okay? I don't end up in these infinite loops, which we will have once in a while, but not just here. But now I have to add one more var, and I'm going to do this. So this is the, oops, didn't mean to copy both of those. I'm going to give this guy a var set. You're going to see why in a moment, okay? And this really is an awesome pattern, and by the end of it, unless someone shows me a better way, I think people will see that it's a good pattern, okay? So now, no matter where the source of input comes from, it's always going to be the same, okay? So I call this merged vars, and the source of that will be this, and then the source of that will be this. And then the source of this will be source. And then make sure it's an expression. And this all will make sense shortly, okay? So now we have those vars and those vars. Now this guy's going to change because it's just chat. And we have our message. The message and everything might be different as well. So if I was to send a new message from here, let's let it just kind of break. One moment, I'm going to disconnect this guy. This guy, when it passes in message, it has a different session ID source, and it has a different chat input source, okay? So it's just going to work differently. And I don't even know if I'm going to use this from here on because we have our payload now, but I am going to add more scheduled stuff and everything else, okay? And so then we want to say, okay, good. So we're set to go. Now, I don't want to run this again, so I'm going to just deactivate it so I don't mess up. And I'm going to close this for a moment. It is nice to have the chat, but let's see. So now I'm going to execute this guy. And when I execute it, we're going to give this LLM a message. So now, let's just do one at a time, and it will make more sense. So we're going to say there, and then we're going to say merged, and then we're going to say that. So I don't want it to be just a random chat message. I want it to pull it from the chat input. And I want the LLM to have a system property or system message. Now, this is the system message to drive everything. Onboarding though, remember. I need a decent onboarding prompt to help guide the AI to walk through the user's chat. Basically, the goal is to, as quickly as possible, just get a sense of meals the user likes, foods they like, and day of the week that they want to shop, and the day of the week they want you to generate the meal plan and shopping list. And that's about it. Once you have these things and how many people are in this meal plan, you can basically say they're onboarded. So the first thing is onboarding them. Once we officially onboard them, which you'll see what that means, then we can move into the actual meal planning part. Okay. So I know it's gonna make sense shortly. It's going to interrupt this particular flow because we have to know if the user's onboarded or not, okay? So what we're going to do is, I'll come back to it. We got to rework it when I come back to it, but we're not going to go too far, okay? So now this guy has enough information, okay? Now I'm going to write to the database when I'm done. So I want it to have a structured output. So I'm going to say structured output. And all I'm going to say is this. I just want to force it to give me a consistent key value reply. And sometimes by doing this, you keep it from doing that whole silly, here's what I want to tell the person. It just does it. So now that we've did that, we have to make our structured output. And I don't think I need to do the prompt in both of them. I think I could just do it here. I should practice that one. And then I'm going to tell this guy, which is really important, to format as JSON. And then I could tell it to use it to continue to do it. Okay. So that means when this comes out with an answer, we're going to do something. But I want to do one more thing here. Now I'm going to use the built-in memory. Now I use two memory systems, and it's not perfect. I think I like my system because it gives me some wiggle room without too much complexity. So I'm going to add my credentials to Supabase so we can talk to Postgres. So if we go back to Supabase, we click on this guy. We can go through a process here of grabbing the Postgres access, okay? And we can then do that, 5432, and we should be set. The user, okay. The password is the one I saved earlier, so I'm going to go to my Vault, and I'm going to go to there and grab that. All right, so now we have access to the database in a way that N8N needs it for its chat history. Now remember, the session is not there. The session is here, okay? And we can give it more. I don't think we need to worry about 5 right now. So when I throw this, it's going to use its way of doing memory, which I don't want to get in the way of, right? So now, because we don't really have the memory of the initial question, it's kind of at a loss here, but I think it should be fine. By the time we're done, though, we're going to get the formatted output we want. We can continue to progress here. And we're going to see output there in a moment. And once this is done, I'm going to pin it. You could have done this all in Lovable, in chat, in AI, in UI. But we're going to get a certain level of stability and ease of iteration and support that it's so good. So I'm going to pin this, unless the answer is horrible, so we don't run that again by accident and waste our time. And then I'm going to say, okay, Supabase, create a row, and we're going to say, oh, I haven't even added Supabase yet. Crazy. So then Supabase, this guy we just turn on our LS because it doesn't get touched by anything. And then Supabase has a new way of doing this, or a way that I always forget. I just want to go grab this guy, okay? So N8N gets the service role secret, the very powerful one. You never put that in the UI. Then somewhere in here, API keys, I think this is it. Here we go. Okay. And then we do that. So now we're set for Supabase, and let's roll. Let's see. So now we want to write to the chat history. And we're going to write to the user ID. Now, I could grab this from a few places. It really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to grab it from here because it's not going to change. And then we can write the role. Well, let's just go down the list. The message. So this is what AI is saying back to us. Okay. And then we can write the role is then we decided, or it decided is. All right. So I am watching this with you. And you know what I mean. I'm watching this. And this is, it gets a little slow, a little intimidating. We lack the AI magic that we're so used to seeing with the vibe coding moments. And I just got to say, stick with it. N8N is intimidating, but I don't think I've seen anyone fail at grasping it. And once you get it connected or get your brain thinking in its way, it will make sense. Some people do use Zapier and Make, and that's an option. Nothing holding you back from that. But the point is, do not code your logic. Put it in one of these systems, these no-code systems. And just keep learning. So stick with it, and it will come together. Okay, keep at it. And remember, there's links below. If you want me to help you get you through something, I can pay. It's paid coaching. And of course, I can take your project to production if you just can't do it. And then there are some lessons below, but in the end, I really think the magic here is that a lot of people can do this now. And that's what's really cool about right now. We can take our ideas and make them into something that's a product that others can use or that we can use. All right, back to it. It is AI. Silly, but whatever. The type is just going to be chat. You'll see it will be automations later on and stuff. And then the status, just to see if it gave us limitations on the status we can use. Okay. Chat history, definition, pending, running, completed. And I'll show you how the other one will pay off as well. Oops. Status, completed. Step. And we could just say AI. All right. And so let's see. So now when I run this, it should show on the left, right? See, that's nice, right? Right? That was good. And I want to now say Supabase, update a row, and we're going to update the original chat history so that we can say it's done. So update equals the original ID of the record, and we're going to say status completed. All right. All right, so that should be good there. Now we could do more to update the status as we go. Like I could say running, I could say AI is thinking, all those things to make the UI hop so the user kind of knows things are going on. And we can add that here. We'll come back to that. It can be annoying to come back to it, so I might want to do it sooner than later, but I also don't want to confuse the video. Okay, so now we have our chat ready to go. I'm going to unpin this because we've already done that, so I don't want to keep using the same response, just so we can keep moving along. So it's going to get us to a place where we have answers, okay? So I'm not going to continue on yet because we want to onboard the person. So let's step back for a moment and look here. So we want to onboard the person. So the step one is Stripe. Step two is onboarding. So now the question becomes, what is onboarding, right? So for me, the LLM has to know and save information about this user. So we're going to just bump that up there. Hold on. Oops, I think I messed up here. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. And what we'll do here is say, this is going to be like a table. we'll user ID, meal goals, prep day, shopping day, first day. I don't know if I care about that. Okay. So we have their meal goals, their prep day, onboarded, true or false. Okay. Oops. So we're going to make a table. That table is going to belong to a user. It's going to have their meal goals. So it's going to be a lot of text, right? Prep day will be Sunday, Monday, etc. Shopping day would be Sunday. Prep day, shopping day, Monday, etc. This is kind of overkill, but let's just keep it there for a moment. And this is default false. Okay, and this will make sense because we're going to now make that whole process with the LLM onboard the particular person. Okay, so now I don't know if it already did this because it does. It has it already. Okay, cool, great. This is good. I didn't know that. So we got our profile table, user ID, full name, avatar. Cool. All right. Let's just add some fields there. So what I'm going to say here is profiles. They already did that. Meal goals, prep. Notifications, true, false. Default, true. So I'm going to have it add some of those. And so, well, I'll wait a moment because it's going to ask me to approve it. And then, well, the next thing we want to do while it's doing the UI stuff is to then let N8N pay attention to that. And that will make sense in a moment too. So does this guy have a profile? It does not. Okay. So, added profile. Wow, that was quick. Okay, so now we have a sense of is the person onboarded. So we're going to go back to the chat area and we're going to load the person's profile. So we're going to go to Supabase. And now some people might say, hey, there's a lot of database stuff going on, but get customers, then scale. Like, don't worry about that. If you have a problem of scaling, then you might have a good problem because it means you have customers. So this is their profile. But this means I might have broken this, which is okay. So we just got to push these out a little bit. So here's the user ID. So now I'll drag in. You'll see that there's more to it. It's just longer. And I like to make that first. Okay. And then we have the chat input, which is their message. And then I just replace that with the word first. All right, and then web. Okay, so now we have the profile. We have the webhooks, webhook vars. So I want the LLM to do a good job here of knowing if the person's onboarded or not. So what I'm going to do is help it. I could make a sub agent, which is probably what I'm going to do just to keep things simple. Well, not simple, just to, well, it's a mix. I could do either. But I'm going to add a little agent that just hyper focuses on profile. Now, all right, so one of the newest topics in our industry is this thing called agents, and then agents have tools. So it's an interesting topic. You'll see in this video we have an agent, a supervisor for onboarding, and that supervisor has sub-agents. And then those sub-agents have tools. So, you know, it's pretty much that. It's like having, you call for the plumber, the supervisor sends them to the right house. They have a box full of tools and they know which ones to use. In this case, we have an orchestration supervisor, or onboarding, sorry. And the onboarding supervisor is helping to make sure the user gets all their answers, or all the questions asked and answers put in and saved. And so the sub-agents are responsible for saving the mail plan, saving the data to the database and other things. You could put all that into the supervisor, but then you risk a little bit more just mess ups, because that's a lot of things for that one LLM to do. And it's not a ton, but just to keep it clean right now. And so the next supervisor will be, hey, they're already onboarded. What's the day-to-day chat we're doing? And what are the weekly automations we're doing to keep them going? It could even be daily notifications and whatnot. And so that's what we're putting in place right now as the concept of supervisors and tools. And so it will make sense as you keep using it, but just so you know. Now, what I want to do here, I'm going to add a new model just so that I don't use the same one. I could probably get away with something cheaper or faster. 5 has all these mini things. Let's just do that. I'll have it share the same memory, which is over here. And then it will have a tool to get the user's profile. Now I have the profile here. So this one might be overkill, but I'm going to do something here. Update profile. So we're going to update the profile. So I won't even get the profile. I'm just going to do it this way. So we're going to do update, actually. Sorry. Update. And I like to set things here. So we're going to say profile. And then we're going to let it do its thing. It will let it, actually, I'll make it simple. You know, I know this is the profile, so I don't want it to always have to think about things and do extra work. So let's get rid of that. So meal goals, let's make sure it got that right, because that looks a little bit. Yeah, see, I want that to be varchar, just because I'm not sure if text is enough room for a big message. So I'm going to fix that really quick. Okay, so prep day, let it do that. Shopping day, let it do that. Onboarded. And notifications, I don't want it to manage. Okay. Okay, then I'll go back to this guy and just remind it now. So I'm going to do a couple things here, okay? I'm going to make sure it knows what day it is, okay? And then I'm going to tell it about its tools or sub-agents. You have a sub-agent to handle the profile, which will reflect all the onboarding steps you've done. Once we have all the fields filled in, make sure to set onboarded to true. And let the user know they've been onboarded, and we will start generating their meal plan in a moment. All right, let's see here. All right, this will make I'm just thinking about something here on the side that I want to make sure we get ahead of. Okay. So its only job is to onboard. Remember that. And before long, we're going to have this if statement here that says if not onboarded. Okay, so we're saying if the status of their profile is onboarded, Boolean is false. Okay. If false, we want to keep chatting with this guy. Otherwise, we're going to go to a new agent we make down here, and that's it, okay? So I don't want to keep going to the UI and chatting. We have enough here to maybe make this work or not. Okay, let's see. I'm going to just try it. Let's just go here. Okay, I'm going to do what it said. One pork, bacon, eggs. Two, 3, 4. Sunday is shopping and prep. Flex. And 2 people. All right, let's give it a go. So I'm going to copy this just in case it doesn't work. But this is going to go into him. He's going to now know to set the profile accordingly. And then come back and be done. Now, there's no pending, there's no waiting, there's no bubbles. I want to get that all in place. We will get there. This chat will be perfect. But let's just get the flow going. And then I can always hand off the UI to someone else on the team, right? Because it doesn't mess with the database. It's just details, okay? So now if we go to executions, because we don't want to wait there forever because it could be broken, and we reload, then we'd have to wonder where did it go, right? So here we go. Took a while. Now, typically it won't take that long. I'm going to go check why that took a while, but maybe I'm on the free plan with Meal Planner. I need to up it. But typically this stuff's really fast, honestly. I don't really do streaming. I don't think customers, I think it's about quality, and quality sometimes takes research and time. So I think it's okay. So now, did it do the job? Let's see, it got here. I'm going to copy this to the editor so I can really unpin everything and look inside. So this is the one we just saw where I did all that information. And then we go to if, profile, vars, if not onboarded. Look at it, used our tool, okay? So if we go to our onboarded, and I'm going to reload the page, we are, drum roll, onboarded true. Okay, so now we're ready to move to the next flow. Let's kick that off. Okay, so now we got that working. So the profile is marked as onboarded. So now we're going to start taking advantage of that, okay? So when a person asks a new question, the system's going to stop here. And I think we probably don't have one yet. Okay, this is the one. So now this is going to go to the chat. And that was nice. It came up quick, which it should. And it's going to do something. So let's see. And some of the change here in time is me leaving to go do something. So now we see if I copy that together, it's stopped here because it's like, hey, this person's already onboarded. So this is key, okay? So we're going to take all this work we did and just move it over here, make a nice note so we remember to come back to it. Actually, this is a new feature. I will have to come back to that. All right. All right, so what you're going to see here is a pattern. It actually works really well. And there's a second pattern here that we could talk about as well really quickly. So first of all, it's saying, hey, the customer's done onboarding. And so this could be a big part of your product. The person needs to be onboarded. And then once they're onboarded, that AI supervisor or control agent, whatever you want to call it, is done with that customer or user. And then now the user's onboarded, they have a different pathway and a different AI to do all this. And the reason is, for the most part, it can just be nice to consolidate and help your AI to focus by giving it a particular set of tools and a particular role to do that work. So you can see this in your system, your business, as whatever that makes sense for your business, to separate the agent in those areas. And also, in our case, we have a particular moment in the business time where the person is onboarded. But in the end, we could have an AI agent that takes the request and decides where to route it. So you can even go that way. This person's new, this person's support, this person is an ongoing customer who has a question. So you can really see here the foundations to that very powerful pattern, which then would increase the quality and the consistency of your AI interactions. So yeah, really good one here. And then we'll say, oops, onboarding. Now I know earlier too I made a prompt area, and that will be the prompt that first gets triggered to the meal planning. It looks like it did one for me already, which is fine for now. So now we want to do our new agent, and it's basically going to be the same inputs. So I'm going to just do this, and we'll call this the meal assistant. Okay, so it has a different goal. It can use the same chat model. It can use the same memory. It's obviously going to have different tools and different structured output. So actually, at first, it's going to be pretty much the same, because just anything is better than nothing, because it keeps the bot from being a little bit too weird in the way it responds. When you ask an AI a question, it will typically say, "Well, I think," or "Here is." But when we do this, it kind of just answers it. And you could prompt your way into that as well, but this is kind of a shortcut that typically works. Okay. So now we still have the desire, we still have the need to have a profile, so we're passing that in. And this guy just has a different job, and it's going to have different tools. So it's going to have a meal tool, which isn't going to be that hard, because I'm going to keep this simple. So let me just look at something really quick. So we are, onboarding is done. Reply to user, onboard them. And then onboard now to manage the first week. So this is where we are now, okay? So when I said yes, it should go do that. So how does it do that? It needs to store it somewhere. Okay, all right. So we're ready for the meals table. I want to keep this simple. Every week has one row in the table for the user. So we basically want to just know that the most current one is the most current week for the user. And then that table will have a varchar, or a field that can handle a lot of text to store the particular meal plan. And then that will also have a column for shopping list. And obviously the user ID is key. And that's about it. I mean, let's start with a simple meals table that links back to the user and has those two columns. Oh, and I mean, we know the most recent meal is the one. Yeah, let's just keep it like that. And don't ask me why I'm yelling at it or leaning forward, because the mic's right here. So we could do a lot of thinking here. We could make a database model that's more complex. Basically, at this point, I just want to keep it simple and complicate it more as we go, if we need to. I didn't put a week number or date in there. I just don't want to struggle with it. Dates are hard. Time zones are hard. I just want a meal plan for the week. There's one active every week. It's not too hard. So, and I'll let the AI know we just want the most recent one. All right, so I clicked approve. So while it's doing that, let's get ourselves going. Okay, so we got that table meals, perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give this guy a tool, an agent. So let's start off giving it an agent in a better prompt. Let's give it a better prompt, okay? So now I'm going to go to ChatGPT, because you don't want to work that hard. So that's cool. They'll be like, oh, don't put hamburger there or something, okay? And like I said, typically I use audio for that. Boop-a-doo. Oh, it's going to try too hard. Pretty nice, pretty simple. I don't understand text. I should ask ChatGPT. And I figured if it's varchar with a C, H or not. Varchar. So I'm going to do varchar. I'm going to just fix that really quick. Now when I fix this, it does mean that we lose some code because it probably is making migrations, but I'm not going to worry about that. So that would be varchar. I think I said 255. How would you know this? I know that's the tricky part, right? Like maybe I could be better at prompting. I would say that's probably the biggest way, honestly. So cuisine, come on, you got to really pay attention. So I probably could have prompted better. I probably even could have used the AI here to build the table. So little tricks like that. This AI is good. It's just when you use one or the other. All right, so now we have that. So let's go get that prompt and put it in here and completely ignore. Got to be careful because you can overdo this and complicate it too. Stupid. So stupid. I'm just going to write it myself because I think it's getting a little bit overkill. All right, using your sub agent to get the user's current meal. Which is the latest one, honestly. They only have one at a time that matters. Just see if we have everything we need for them, shopping list, and then the meal plan itself. And then if they ask for any updates to it, just, take their updates and update the particular column in the database using your tools below the meal tool. But otherwise, just help the customer know, the user know what the meal is for the weeks, what it looks like, if they have any feedback. And otherwise, we're ready to go. Professional prompting there. All right, so then what I try to do sometimes, and this is overkill. Meal sub agent. So you could even make agents to do history and other things. It actually would be kind of cool. So now I'm going to say sub agent, and then this will be our, meal planning agent. Oops. I don't know what I pressed. Here we go. I don't know what that new feature is. I can't wait to try it. Okay. Get history of meals, make a meal plan, get latest meal plan, and update meals. Okay, so this guy's in charge of that. We'll give him this, but I don't want to give him that because that guy has formatting set to JSON. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give him that and turn off that. Okay. And I'm going to just try and give it mini just for speed and maybe cost. Let's see what happens. All right, so then we can give it the same memory, which is fine. I think it's fine. And then we're going to give it the tools. So the tools are going to be pretty much repeat, which is kind of cool. So we're going to say, we're we're going to say get latest meals for user. I'm going to call it history. History. And I did insert by accident, but we can just do select and meals. And then all we need to do is, I'm going to just say 5. It doesn't matter, but let's see. The user ID. Now, oh yeah, I could do this. Okay, so one moment. Let's throw in the user ID from here. Here we go. But I want to sort this by ID descending. Okay, so it's going to get the latest meals. And so here's the rinse and repeat, right? Get current meal. So here we just want 1. And it would be that. Okay. And oops, let me fix all that. Get current meal. And then we want to add an update. So we want to add, actually I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do one for create. It won't have to do this often because we're going to have a scheduled event doing that, and that will make sense in a moment. That would be cool. So we're going to actually use our weekly automation to do this. That'd be cool. So we're going to say insert meals. So we can do that. And then, yeah, that's tricky. So this is where I want to be better at these vars. I'm going to pay for this in a bad way. So what I'm going to do is start moving some stuff up. And this will make a lot of sense once we get into the automations. A lot of sense. This really pays off. So at this point, this merge var is going to always have the user ID. So I'm going to now pass it that user ID. And the user ID, when I come from this route, which is the webhook, will be this. And I'm going to actually copy that. That might be the only route. Yes, because chat is turned off. But if I do want to keep using chat, I will make that work. Okay, so now everybody's going to keep working. The merge var is going to know that. We're not going to run that yet because I want to do this in a moment. All right, so nice and messy. My stuff is never that clean. Okay, so we could fix a lot of these, honestly. So all over the place, I bet. I kind of made a mess up there. That's why I do merges. So this guy I would pull now. And that can get, when you have a sub tool, it can get hard to grab environment variables from other nodes. And it's just a UI glitch. So I'm just going to grab that and then do what I like to do. And then do that. Okay. Actually, I might even just throw that in there. User ID is just for the heck of it. Okay, but I'm going to go down to here, and just so it doesn't have to do the user ID logic, I'm just going to throw that in there. Okay. Same with that. We're going to pay for the webhook somewhere, so we'll go fix that, especially as we get into real automation stuff. So, and that stuff will just be triggered by, daily schedules. So now this one is create. Obviously, let it do it. Shopping list. I do that. And then I think what I want to do, though, is I don't know who's in charge of this. Example, meal plan. And show quantity. Okay, again, prompting, we can do better and better and better. Create meal. And I think that's interesting. Like, who's in charge of that? Like, who? So if I do that, like, I think he's really not the, I think it's this guy, right? So he's the brains of the meal planner. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a system message here. Okay, that makes more sense. So he now has a system message to deal with these particular tools that it has. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so then we go back to this and this. And if we do this right, sorry, one moment. If we do this right, that should be legit. Now, if we go back to this, I bet you we are using the webhook, yet, which I shouldn't have done. Okay. So now everybody can use the same the same vars. And it's really important. Once you start using vars on one path, it will make more sense once you see it in the end. It's a tricky one to understand, but you'll see in the end. Okay, so now this incoming message is the user, yes, make a meal plan for the week. So now it should be able to get the meal plan. It should be able to get my profile. And now the profile's here. So what I'm going to do is, that's a good question. So I could have a tool that gets the profile, but I'm not. User's profile. We're going to do something here. Let's do this. This is okay, but it's not because the profile, let's see for a moment, the profile's way over here. So we've just limited ourselves. Okay. So now if we come the other path, we're not going to get the profile. So you can see how tricky this can get. So let's do this. Let's do this. So let's see. So let's see. So this, let's see. So I don't know if this is going to be my favorite way to do this, but let's just see what happens. Some of the stuff you can't predict. You just got to do it. So see how it has all those fields there? Yeah, I'm not sure if I like this. So I bet you were referencing that profile somewhere. Yeah, way over here. Let's do this. We're going to make this tool, we're going to copy it. And then bring it down here. Meal preferences, okay. So sometimes the user might want to change their preferences too, so this will actually work out good there. So here we're going to add another tool. Okay. And let's see, so we're going to take this and we'll say update profile. And we want to get profile. And we got to remember to let the agent know, though it probably can do it on its own, honestly. But this one, I don't mind being a little overkill. Here's all the memory. Who knows if that's a good one? So see. Get profile. Okay. So we're just going to go get the profile. And we're going to get profile. We're going to return 1. And it's going to be user ID. But remember, we're going to get it from the merged vars. Always from the merged vars. Here we go. And I spelled it completely wrong. But I am not going to change that. Actually, I think if I changed it, it would change it everywhere. Okay, so we have our get profile, our update profile. Now, did I put in the wrong one? Hold on, sorry. User meal profile preferences. Okay. So we're going to go back up to this. It's still messy. We can clean it up after. Get rid of that. And we're going to register another tool here. Not that we have to. I just think I'd rather play it safe. Always. Details, shopping list, day of the week, number of people. Actually, while this is running, I want to show you something. It's kind of cool. All right, so then it's just going to give them all the rows. Let's see, update profile. Yep, looks good. Okay. So now they have a tool to manage meals, they have a tool to manage profiles, and we can just give this a go now, and it will go through the loop. Now, while it's doing that, I want to show you something that's kind of cool. If we look at their profile and we look at this row, not only did it onboard them, but it definitely set the days, but it should have set the particular number of people. Or maybe I didn't save that. I should save it. So I'm going to save it for 2 people, number of people, because that will help with everything. So I should add that column. All right, so let that run for a moment. It's already done the meals table. I don't know where it's showing me this stuff, so this will be interesting to ask Lovable to kind of like surface this information. So let's see. I'm going to ask it to fix the UI in a moment once we build up our first meal plan. And I'm going to let it do the work because I'm just going to suggest what I need. Man, that UI is so ugly, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Things are working great. Once the person's profile is true for the onboarded column, we want to get them into more of a phase of meal planning. Same chat, same everything, but let's surface the information, especially once we have it, to show their most current meal, which then has 2 columns in there. One is the meal plan and one is the shopping list. So you can show both of those with the information that you see in that table. This way they can look, they can print those things. They could, we'll talk about sharing later. And I guess, in a modal, they could edit them because maybe they want to add some details. Obviously, in the chat window, they can continue chatting with the AI agent, which will then potentially update this information for them. So we definitely need real-time events on meals so you can kind of see when updates come in. And so I keep pushing the real-time events. I keep pushing the read-write to the table and listen. This guy doesn't do anything else. And if we look, meals does have real-time off. So we're going to hope it turns it on. Profile is off. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask it for that. We want to make a profile page. So let's do that. We want to do that. We want to do that. I want to not forget that one. One moment. I thought I already had that here. Let's make like a little I forget the link, but there's a link they can do to Stripe to just get going. So what did the chatbot do? If anything, it should eventually make the first meal plan. Now, every week on a Sunday before anything happens, or most likely, it's going to make the next meal plan. So the user is going to see it right away, get notified, and then see their meal plan. I haven't made a notification table yet, but we will, and then those will trigger emails and SMSs later on. I don't know. I want to first work on Telegram, but we'll come back and do that. Let's give that a moment. Let me look at my plan here. So we got onboarding done, Supabase user unload them, manage first weekly plan, and then we want to do this automation. So every Monday or Sunday, whatever their preferences are, we will make the new plan and then Telegram. So we're going to move to this one in a moment, which is cool because you'll really see automations happening. What is it doing? Meals. Okay, cool. It's turning on real time. All right, nice. And this guy will take a while. I mean, maybe we can use a faster model, but get latest meals, get current meal. I realize there is no meal, so created a meal. That's cool. Get the profile. So it's doing a good job. Looking good. Yeah, it's probably just going to pop out the results in a moment. I'll go here for a moment, because we will see it show here. If the agent fails here, we'll work on just adding, what's the word, try agains, basically. It has some settings that we can do for how many times should it try, things like that. I'm surprised it's taken so long. I mean, those are a lot of checks. What's cool is we could go to the logs and see what's going on. As you can see, there's just a lot of going back and forth. Yeah, so things are looking good. I think it's doing a good job. I don't think it's stuck yet. Let's just see what happens. We will see the response show up here, but in the meantime, I want to see what it says. Perfect. Wow. Ugh, I hope it didn't do too much. By the way, can we make a profile area and get all the subscription stuff into that and make it so that they can have a link to Stripe to go manage their subscription? And that same area will help them set any settings on their profile, like notifications, true or false, and I guess password and name. Let's go have it do that while we come back. It says it did a bunch of stuff. I don't want to restart yet because I wanted to have it show here, but we had an error. So let's see what happened. Request timed out. You know, I don't know why. What I'm going to do is this. So basically, who timed out, right? Like, so what I typically or want to do is two things. I want to retry and fail. But then I want to do this cool thing that someone, they just released, and enable fallback model. And so in here, we're going to just use Gemini. And I don't know if that would have helped there, because maybe it happens somewhere else. But let's just give it a try. Gemini. Let me go get my credentials. Gemini. All right, so now we got that. So I'm just going to rerun it again, and I think we'll be okay. Let's let that go for a moment. We'll see results here. Soon we'll see our profile all fixed up, and again, I can do both at the same time, which is nice. All right, back. I just want to let it run for a moment. Okay, so what do we got? We have a response, which is fine. Great, great. Now, we had to go all the way through. This did not have a meal plan to begin with, so I had to do something it shouldn't have to do often. Actually, we'll have to do it every Sunday or whatever, because I'm going to have the automation do it, and we'll set up that in a moment. It made a meal plan. Now, is this good enough? I think it's good enough, but I'm going to do in one of the next videos, I'll do an automatic evaluation process so we can have the AI generate and review and approve and rate it and then get the prompts better and better, so we don't have to just keep going at it and wait all that time. So we'll come back to that after. But yeah, this is looking like the data's there, and it looks good enough for me to say yes for now. Okay. We want to now get into the scheduler that will set up the weekly one. And so this is cool because I want you to see this. So now, and then we'll get back to the UI and how does the user experience it. That's going to be a little tricky because it could go on forever because you can make it better and better. But I'm going to add a new trigger, and that triggers the scheduler. Where are you, scheduler? Okay. So every day. Now, it's interesting. Every day, I'm going to look for profiles, right? So every day, midnight, we'll say, I'm going to look for profiles. Supabase. And I'm getting all the profiles that are relevant to that day. So I'm going to say, hey, profile, return all. We'll return all, which could be huge when our app gets famous. And we want the profile that is shopping day, prep day, shopping day. We'll just do shopping day. And what we're going to do, that assumes the shopping day is the same, but we can work out the details. And what that is going to do, so does profiles have a limitation on a shopping day? No. So the AI technically could write anything it wants there. So it's a little tricky. So we're going to consider it going to be, a day of the week. Okay. So I'm going to say, I like, okay. And then I'm going to say now day format. I don't know what the format is. Let's see, day L? No, LL. Let me go ask ChatGPT, or let me see if they have it here. Monday. So I just need the proper day format. So let's go ask ChatGPT. Okay, most of my time is just going to be using this guy. So there is a, this is called lazy programming, by the way, or non-programming. I'll show you why. So there's this point in here where I have to be conscious of the fact that, this is going to run at midnight. If someone signs up at midnight, we might make 2 meals for them. Otherwise, it shouldn't matter. Now, for someone who made a meal plan on Sunday, today is Friday. So if I made a meal plan on Friday, joined up, have my meal plan, and then I say I want to shop on Friday, we also will get 2 meal plans. So, there's a lot of things here that could go wrong, but not a ton. I just don't want to worry about it right now. So if we run this, we're going to probably get nobody, okay? I'm going to rename this weekly meal plan. And so we're going to just go to that and we're going to run it, okay? So now we have nobody. So, oh, they have this. Okay, I can then fake this. This is good. So watch this. So we can do this, and then we can do that, and we still are going to get nobody. But mine is set to Sunday. So if I said, hey, this is Sunday, then save it. Then when we run that, we're going to get some results, which is me. And this is where we go through the process. We say, okay, let's go get the profile of that user we just found. Okay, I think it will be user ID. All right. And then let's go get the vars in place, which are going to be different. Okay. So now we're going to say, scheduled vars. And this is where it's all going to come together and make more sense. The session ID will continue to be the user ID. The chat input will be, okay. And then the source will be scheduled. Okay. This will make sense in a moment. The user ID will be that. Okay. And then sometimes if it doesn't turn green, either I have a typo or I just replace item with first. So we get everything we need here. Okay. So at this point, this will work. It will. I can just delete it after, and then it's going to go through. Now, all right. Now that I have the ability to go back in time here, I want to look at this. This pattern of merging. So you're going to see there's plenty of ways to run this workflow. And this screenshot you're seeing here is from the future, where I start throwing in Telegram. So you can kind of see how we can basically communicate with this chat in multiple ways. And later on, it could be SMS, and then it could be WhatsApp, and it could be all these things. And so in this case, everyone has its own path, and they all have to merge into that one block over there. And so this just so you can see the bigger picture of why we're taking a moment to do something that seems kind of a waste of time by making these set variable blocks and setting them up. What we're doing is we're what's the word? Basically, we're taking every particular pathway into the AI and making it consistent and the same. So no matter which way you come in, it's all going to end up being the same variables by the time we get to that last block. So this is a big deal and a really important pattern. And I don't know if there's a better way, but this is a good one to learn and kind of see the bigger picture here. All right. Then it's going to go through. Now, the thing is, once we get to here, though, I've got to decide if I want to show this as a chat message or not. And having a chat history for everything, it's more for the UI. Having a chat history that's built into N8N is going to happen either way because it's going through here. But having it in the UI, I don't think I need that. So I'm going to say, so let's see, source. So source is, source is this. Web, we do want to put it in the UI. This isn't a golden rule, but it's a start to building out some of this. So I'm going to say source of chat. And then we're going to say, okay, if the source is equal to, let's see, merge vars. Oh, I can't grab it till I run it. One moment. So we're down here, right? In here, and then here. And I'm running one at a time, so I'm not making a bunch of dummy data. Not that it matters at this point, but it is nice I don't have to clean up. And then I go here. So so it has to equal web for us to care about it. And I like to have a thing here so I know, okay? Now, I might do something later on for scheduled. I could send a nice message to people. That's a nice one. Maybe I'll make a to-do list, you know. And I might want to do chat. Let's see what happens, though. We want to do add Telegram, too, but I want to get this one in place. Okay, so now we have something that's going to trigger every day. And if the person wants an update that day, it will do it and make the new meal plan for them. It's going to be a little weird because I'm signing up on a Friday. And, you know, that's a level of detail I would just come back to and really crank it down a little. It's an interesting one. If someone signs up on a non-start day, the system needs to be smart enough to consider that. And then the restart would, so the prompt would have been better. The first meal would have been like, what day is it? Make only enough meals till their next start day. So you could see where we can come back and this would just have worked seamlessly. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay. The next thing we want is Telegram. So I can just text this thing from anywhere. Okay. So with that, we want to trigger. And you could use WhatsApp or whatever, and Telegram can be a dumpster fire, but it's easy to set up. But WhatsApp, SMS with Twilio, all that stuff is pretty straightforward. So on message is what we want. So I'm going to go get my Twilio credentials. One moment. Twilio. Oh, sorry, not Twilio. Telegram. Telegram. All right, so Telegram is funny because I have to go make a bot father. Okay, so I went to bot father. I read the docs. Not really. I scrolled down and clicked on bot father. It brings me to Telegram, which brings me here, which has my credentials that I don't want to show you. And then all I need to do is create a new bot. And I'm just going to kind of follow the docs. Let's see how it goes. New bot. Okay. I'm going to call it Daily AI Meal Planner. because I think there's a certain need to have it like a namespace. And then I'm going to move this off the screen because I really don't want to have to delete this bot. It says add a username. So let's see. And the username just has to be _bot. So far, these directions are wicked easy. Congratulations. And then you get this awesome simple token. They're just so good at this. Too bad no one likes them. So let's see. Telegram, Meal Planner bot. Okay, so it is that, and the username is that. Okay, really that simple. The directions for any name are typically pretty good. Obviously, you can just give it to AI and then get going. All right, so now, let's see. This is going to be cool. Watch this. We are going to be able to add stuff to our shopping list. Okay, thanks, bot. Cool. Go green. Message. So now I think, let's see, I think this guy, I think I should have read a little bit more. Hold on. Copy the token. I guess that's it. I thought I had to do something with the webhook. Let's see what happens. Let's just throw it a message. Okay, so I'm going to click save. I'm going to open up. Let's see, how do I do this now? New chat. Oops. So I'm just going to go ask my bot. So all I had to do is find it in my contacts. And once I did that, I was able to use it. And so I just sent it a message, and let's see if it came through. And there it is. Okay, so we can see it came through. And this would work with WhatsApp and whatever, okay? So the first question becomes, like, does this person exist in our system? And that is a tricky one because I haven't done anything here for emails and stuff. So I'm going to add a new field to the database, to the profile. And that profile will be someone's Telegram username. And then we will have that username. So I'm going to ask it to show me the profile page. Here we go. And I think I'm logged in here. We'll find out in a moment. I think we're at 2 hours. Not bad. I mean, we just built a whole app that I can publish with that button. And has Telegram, which is kind of overkill. That is, we definitely got to come back to the UI. We'll talk to it. And so what we want to do is get the Telegram. Great. On the profile page, I want you to add a new text column, and in the database that will be Telegram user name. And this way the person can add that to then use our Telegram bot. All right. Well, it's doing that. I'm going to come back here. And so we would basically say, you know, let's see. We would basically add a query, and if the query finds the user, then we keep going. So we'll maybe it will beat us. So let's just do it the right way. So we're going to say Supabase, get a row, profile, in the, let's see, profile. Yep, it beat us. Okay. equals that. So if we have a message come in and it equals that, then we know it's a legit message. Now, how would you do this so that it's secure? I'd have to read up on that one. Right now, this wouldn't be secure because someone could fake my Telegram handle. So we'd have to really think about that one. I think I'm going to stick to this. It's tricky because how would they find their thing, right? How would they know? See, username, phone. Like, I just put my phone out there, but I get so much junk calls. Who cares? Yeah, it's tricky. Oh, I'm going to move this over, actually. So, I mean, I'm going to use this, but I think I'm going to switch to this after. I'm just not sure how they're going to do it. So let's come back to that. Okay. So I'm going to say, hey, get in the row. Let's actually make a note. And then we're going to go add that username. So let's go to Profiles and edit this row. And let's reload this because it's probably the old database. And we're going to just paste my name there. So now you can steal that. And we're going to go back here. And now we're going to get somebody. Now, if we get somebody, we then keep going down the row. All rinse and repeat, right? Now, different provisions of user ID, but this is pretty much the same. And this is, though, where this is going to pay off, right? So watch this. Telegram vars. Oops, session ID is the user ID. Nope, it's this guy. Session ID is always the user ID. The message is, what did they send in? Right here we go, okay? And then the source is going to be Telegram. And then the user ID, we do it again to this one. Okay. So now they get hooked into our system and it's going to do its thing and come out this other side. And at this point, we're going to say source is equal to Telegram. Okay. We're still going to do these guys, so no big deal. I'm going to copy these down here because it's okay to repeat yourself, okay? So let's see, webhook. Now, this is only going to work for them. Oops. So this should be merged vars. And they won't show yet. Merge vars doesn't show because I have to just kind of trigger through a few of these. Sometimes you got to click it twice. And then we go to merged vars. Okay. All right. Cool. And then we go here and we fix up this. And I should go fix the other one while I'm here. So we're going to just grab that. And I like first. I just don't know. Sometimes on these non-loops, I really like it a lot. Okay. And then the message is whatever came from the AI, and then we're there. Okay. And then this guy is going to be merge vars user ID. This one was fixed. Okay. So that's complete. And then this guy. So we never made the initial one, but I'm going to do that. Okay. And then merge vars username, and then this guy. Okay. So let's go back up a step. I want the conversation to continue in the UI, so let's take a moment to add a new chat, right? Because nowhere was this made. So we want to create a chat history, and we want to say user ID. Oops, sorry. User ID equals user ID. Let's see, message equals. Nope. Message is whatever I sent in. And then the role probably defaults to human, but just in case. Human pending step getting Telegram and step status. And I think that is it. Oh, type is chat. No, type is chat. We haven't really used this. Type is just chat. Sometimes the chat message area, I'll filter it out based on the type just to keep like automations out of there, but we haven't needed that yet. Okay. So now this guy would create the chat message. Ooh, but interesting. So by making that chat message there, I've triggered this guy. And I'm going to do something here. And type is chat. Okay. So we're probably going to get 2 messages out of this, but I'm not going to worry about that. And then what I'm going to do is set this to be type Telegram. So now I'm preventing a little bit of a loop here. I'm going to create it here, but not here. So if we look back here, and we probably already got a message reply inside of our system. Yes, make me a mail cover this week. Hello, what are my mails for this week? So we made it here, and it probably would have triggered the automation. Probably did, and probably just broke somewhere. Because, you know, there was just finished. Let's see if we can find it. Still running. So it's going to make a new entry, and we'll just delete it. This is the one we just did right here. So in a moment, it will have one from the bot, and we don't want that one. We want ours. But let's just keep going. It doesn't really matter, honestly. But the point is, by doing this, I cannot double up on the chat, okay? So hopefully that made sense. So now the profile, and I think, I don't think it's going to be restrictive of the type. Let me just double check, because it really shouldn't be status. What I mean by restrictive is sometimes AI will force certain types of text to go there, and it could be good, but sometimes it could be restrictive. All right. So we're ready to go. We've made a new chat entry. It's Telegram. It won't connect and make a problem. And then we go back to here, and then we go back to here, and we say Telegram. And then we go to, let's see, send a message. Get a chat. Send a, that's cool. Send a, ooh, I can just search. Send. We could even take audio. It's a common one. So now, because we're here, we can go all the way back here. We don't have to worry about the vars. And we can grab that, and then we can give it some actual text, which would be the output of this guy here. Oops, where are you? Oh, because we haven't gone far enough. Let's see, I can grab it from here. Nope, not that one. Not that one either. We have to go get this guy. So I know what we can do. What I mean by this, and this will make sense as I write it out. So let's pop this open. We need that, but it has to be the AI guy. So let's see, meal assistant, first item. No, so we're gonna go way back into him, and we'll go get that. And that's it. Well, I think, let's go look. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So if we run this, it should go back to that Telegram. Now, see how it just froze there? It's okay. I'm just going to reload the page that I saved. I'm going to pick Telegram and run it. Ooh, and I probably could clean up a little bit here. Remember, we're making multiple chat messages here, so the chat system could get a little confused. But okay, we're all set. Let's just give it a go. So it says it's waiting for a message. It really shouldn't be, because I have some pinned data there. I want to make it go. Sometimes it just works. Oh, let me try this. Sometimes I can just do this. No. I can just text it again. Let's see what happens. Usually you don't have to do it that way, but let's just see what happens. So that should go into here. Now we can't watch it, which is no fun. And that should kick in. Those speeds aren't great. I'll have to figure out why. Where are you, chatbot? And then who do you blame for that? Is it Telegram? So I'm in with my bot. Should be pretty quick. I do this every day. TLDR, my plan, please. So that would mean I'm gonna shove that in there. Human, hello, nothing there. So why did you stop? So this is probably because I was close to the end. Hello, Telegram. Huh. Let's come back to that one because it's kind of not my system's fault if Telegram can't message me unless I set up something wrong. But also, I thought I did this guy. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So let's just see. We'll come back to him in like 5 minutes. In the meantime, I want to finish deploying. So I think just a quick note, Telegram is working now. Just whenever you do these videos, things don't work, but it is great. You can see on the screen, I've been using it to just get updates and add to the system. And even, I think, no, it wasn't this project, but you can even have it update things via this. So it's a great interface and a great way to do stuff. Telegram, WhatsApp, SMS would be fine. It's all works. All right. So I think, let's just reload. And then we're going to deploy. So we're going to go publish this thing, and I'm going to go publish it. That's cool. Now I could self-host this, but I just want to go at the most basic level. There is a security warning there. Let's go see what it says, because I think it's just going to be chat data could be actual. I don't know. I don't think that's true. I have those real low securities in place, but let's just see what it says. I'm just curious now. And then we can go here. And I can sign in, and I can just use that thing I used before, which was actually just 001, so it's actually pretty good. Oops. Oh, that's not it. Okay. Still ugly, but we can come back to that. And that is me writing that message in Telegram. So let's do an onboarding and watch the whole thing happen. Ooh, chat histories. Yeah, that's good. Let's do it. And then we'll add a new user. I'm going to let it finish. Actually, I'm not going to close that. I'm going to let it finish to make sure I can still see my chat. And then we'll go back to the UI outside of this video because we're pretty much done. When will this kick in? I have to just work through a few more back and forth with Lovable to see if the UI is right, or like the integration is right. See if we can see that in Stripe. One moment. Oh, here it is. So if I did this right, or if it did it right, I should have gotten some kind of sign up today. So maybe it decided not to do anything. Subscriptions, all in my test area. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to go through with Lovable and see. I wanted to prove that my Stripe is ready to go. What's going to make the person not be subscribed after 7 days? And stupidly, I could have kept it simple and just say you have to pay to get in. So you can kind of see how I could have reduced that complexity. But it did everything we need to do to kick off the process of integrating with Supabase. And so without you needing to care about this, it made some edge functions so that Stripe can talk back to things here and check the subscription, create a checkout and customer portal. So it's created the things it needs in Supabase to keep up the communication with Stripe. So you should be okay. But how do you fake that? How do you make it so that you can test it? There's a lot of things you need to do for QA there, and then tighten it up because I think it's kind of, I don't like this and I want to get it to work. And I have it working on other apps. So I know it just takes a little bit of back and forth. So we've published it. So let's publish it again because I think we did an update. And then I'm going to update it and then publish anyways. And then I'm going to add a custom domain. And so then we're going to sign up. So I'm going to log out. Hopefully the logout works. I'm going to sign up. And so now we're going to get into test 002. And this will be, like I say, I just bump it up, right? Plus 002, that just works. It's a new user, but it still goes to the same email. Now I'm onboarding. And if everything works here, which I had to reload that. So what I typically would do is work again with Lovable. Say, listen, if a race condition moment, the person might not have the first chat ready. Show them that message. Like I just need to get in there a bit and say, hey, just show the message. And maybe I do put this in code, to be honest with you. Okay. So I'm just going to do the same thing. Shop and cook on Sunday. All right. And then we continue the back and forth with it till we're onboarded. And let's just walk all the way through that. I don't like how it doesn't show my message right away. I bet you have to reload, so it's a bug. So you see little UI stuff, nothing to do really with N8N or Supabase, just Lovable has to just to be a little bit fixed to even that one's not even listening, it's just doing. So now again, QA, remember how we changed it to be chat. So we can see a problem there I caused. So it's on chat history. Let's see, it's this guy. So our if statement is now broken. Okay. So when that's AI. So let's get to this one. Okay, there we go. So type null. Type is null. Oh, it shouldn't be null. That's a bug in that. So what I'm going to do is this. So again, this is a really good lesson. I don't want to tell the AI in the code to do defaults. I rather just do them right here so we don't get more code. Let the database handle some complexity as well. And so now this guy would have came through. And I'm going to do it again just so I can show you what I mean, right? So now it's going to pass our chat test, and I don't have to tell the AI to do something in the UI. I set a default in the database. So consider that. Your database is also a great place to create and store business logic. The tricky part, and it's not the bad trick, is just remembering then you have logic in the database and N8N, so you just got to keep that in mind as you go. AI can keep that in mind. AI has MCPs hook up to it. It won't be too bad. All right, so we've got all the way through, and it made it to the onboarding end. And it didn't reload here. I'm not psyched about that. It could be because I switched domains. Oh, that could be why. Might have to ask it to fix that. It's probably listening in a way that, where are you, sockets? So what I'm going to do though is I can fix all this easily. It just takes time, but with the AI, so it won't be too hard. But I think when I switch domains, it switched the way it could listen to things. So I'll probably fix that once more when I'm in the final domain. So it seems like I'm not onboarded yet. Favorite cuisine, foods and resources, no allergies. 1, anything. 2, none. 3, Sunday. Oops. 3, Sunday. Okay, see how it doesn't show that right away? Minor bug. I'm pretty sure it's because I switched domains, and that can get in the way of WebSockets. It's okay. Again, like I said, a few messages back and forth with ChatGPT. So system parameters, payload, blah, 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 check real time. Real time should be enabled, but I'm going to go check really quick. So you get chat history, it has real time on. You got meals, real time on. This one we don't care about. Profile doesn't hurt because they might need to be more dynamic. Prompts, that's irrelevant. And then subscribers, that's something else. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now I'm going to reload because it's done. And it says, hey, you're onboarded. Great. And let's go check that out. Let's go see. Oh, here it is. It's doing all that thinking, right? So, but I didn't show it here as thinking. UI stuff. It's just the details. And those take the most time, honestly. So it's still running and thinking and doing all that stuff. I wish we could see more, but you can't see it while it's running. So, but one of these, this guy was 54 seconds. So this is the one that did all the onboarding finalization. So you can see here that the person has a profile and that the person is number 2 and they are onboarded. So it's good. And avatar. So remember, like when you're troubleshooting, you got your database. That's the ultimate source of truth in the UI. Then you just need to tweak it with the help of Lovable. Keeping Lovable from messing things up in the database is great, or key. But we're looking good. I don't know if it made a meal plan for that guy. So this is him, and user ID 84CA, and then meals, user ID 84CA. Yep, so it made a meal plan for them. So it's moving along. We did do that update to the security. Welcome to your personal mail plan. 84C. So this looks like the one that they should have got back. So we're here. We got it right here. But it should have shown here as well. So we're good to go. The UI needs some love, but you get it. You get it. And then we can go in the profile and add our Telegram name and start talking with Telegram. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to call it 3 good hours at least. I'm going to cut this down and then I'll have a starting clip. We'll summarize it and I'll surface some of the little tweaks at the end here. But we technically have something with this one button. I could even give it a domain. I'm gonna probably do that any moment, but I want to straighten out the UI, but straighten out the Stripe, which again, Lovable can handle. And then I'll turn Stripe into the non-test secret. Again, Lovable can handle all that. All that stuff I can leave in the hands of Lovable, honestly, so it's nice. And then the back end has the scheduler and everything. So we're looking good overall. Cleanup. Yeah, you can kind of see, though, we've created something that within a day we can just have it live. Looking good, solid, QA'd, can even add evaluations, and we would have something. All right, I'm going to cut this down, get it back to you. Hope you can see how this can work. I hope as a founder with ideas you can get going. I hope as a founder with ideas you can get going enough to say, I know what I want. Here's what it is. Make it happen. But then don't waste a ton of money having these developers code everything for you. Own it because you understand how it should work. But at the same time, try and do it yourself if that's your thing. So, okay. Thank you.